Hi everybody. I'll just wait for a few more minutes because it's just 9 and let's just wait for a few people to join. So, and then we'll start. We'll be talking about how to support children with SEN at home during this lockdown period, especially when you have to balance between the household chores, if you're working from home and they're learning from school, and on top of it, there are additional needs. So, and if you have got any questions, if you want me to cover anything, please feel free to drop a comment and I'll try to answer. And then we'll take it forward from there. Hi, Debajo. Thanks for joining from India. Yes, I can see quite a few people have joined from India as well. That's good. And I hope this will be helpful for you all. And I'll give it 2 more minutes and then I'll start. So thank you so much for joining this evening. And this is my first live video, and hopefully it'll be fine. So if there's any technical glitch or something, please excuse me. I'll try to be as tech savvy as possible throughout the live session. And anything else throughout the session you would like me to cover in a bit more detail, drop me a message, PM me, email me, pick up your phone and talk to me, and I'll try to do more sessions like this to empower parents. Uh, uh, those who know me, that's fine, you know me. And if you have not come across me or you don't know my background, just a quick background. I have been in the field of SEN for 25 years now, which is quite a long time, and have worked as a SENCO, as a teacher. I'm a qualified assessor, and a parent as well. So at the moment, I've started my own initiative called British Education Support Services, which provides consultation for schools and families to in regards to SEN. So it's kind of aiming to become one-stop portal for all your needs, like speech and language, occupational therapy, intervention, assessment. So yeah, we are trying to be that one-stop portal. Okay, so I will start today. So as you all know that we are looking into how to support your child at home. One thing as a parent and as an educator myself, I'm really concerned about is that if they're not getting the right sort of support with their learning, the gap is going to widen and it will be very, very difficult for us to bridge it. It's not only the learning needs, but also the emotional needs and the difficulty for them to get back into the system once it starts. Because it might just all of a sudden be all good and yeah, they start from Monday. So, and so we need to make sure that our kids are ready to get back into the system as smoothly as possible, because that will be another challenge most of the parents will be facing. And so keeping in mind various aspects of it, I'm on during this talk I'll be talking about few things that I think will is really, really important for parents to establish while you're doing your home schooling, because it's crucial. I absolutely understand that it's unbelievably difficult for you to balance between work, your expectations from your workplace, your child's learning. If you have got a younger kids, as I know quite a few of who have joined here has got a younger ones to look after, managing the household chores, and then if you have time to look after yourself. And but remember, as a parent, it's really, really crucial for you to look after yourself. So there are a few very basic tips. I would probably some of you are doing it. Just want to reinforce, which I think will make your life easy. And as you have already, some of you must have noticed that I have started posting some small videos on easy tips which you can do to promote their learning in not that intensive way. Okay, so the first thing I always talk about is maintain routine. It's not about we are doing phonics and English and da 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 da. No, 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 no. We're not talking about that. Maintain the regular routine that you would maintain during the school time. So stick to the bedtime routine, stick to the wake up routine. So whatever they have been doing during their term time, carry on doing it. I know it's Easter break and we all are tempted to like have it a bit of a relax, but honestly speaking, they probably have got no idea that it's holiday or whether it's term time, because it's all muddled up at the moment for us as well. Whether it's a Sunday or a Monday, it really sometimes we forget. So maintain that routine, because it's very important for them to, for their brain to process the information that there are certain formal expectations for them while they're at it. Because when we tend to relax and get rid of the routine, it's very difficult for those little brain, not only little, for us also, to get back to the system of, okay, I have to wake up, I have to dress up, I have to go to school, there's some expectations, I have to do some work. So all those small uh, like routine expectations, which is really crucial and which will be part of their life once they are there, is very important. Because so when they all of a sudden it's time for them to get back to school, you don't want to have that struggle at night that, oh, my child has been going to bed at 10 o'clock at night over the last so many weeks, so they've got, the body clock has gone to like going to bed at 10 and waking up at 10, because that will be a huge struggle for you as a parent, the child, you are going to manage it. So make sure that expectation, that routine is set. And waking up at 10.
Actually, Kishore Kumar চলে এসেছিল. What are you doing?
I didn't do it. Anyway, so it's very important that you maintain that routine. Okay. Next thing, which I think is really important, is for them, when they wake up, get them changed into a formal wear. It sounds like, why? They're at home. They can be in their PJs, or they can be in sorry, I've got an unwanted guest here, my cat, who needs to go out. Okay, otherwise you would have heard a bit of a meow coming up. So yeah, sorry, we need to make sure that they change into a formal wear. I'm not talking about getting into the school uniform. If they want to, that's fine. If not, that's something formal, something, they're out of their PJs, they're not wearing any fancy costumes, they're not into their party mood, because again, the brain needs to think that it is not something unusual, it's not a holiday, it is something which we really need to take seriously, because you will be expecting them to do some learning, you will be expecting to do some, maybe some therapeutic aspect of their needs. So for them, every structure, every consistency is of huge huge important, because you need to have as much consistency in their life as possible. You don't want them to all of a sudden feel like, oh, where am I? And why are you expecting? I'm in my PJs. The brain doesn't process them. And especially if a child has got SEN, it's even more crucial that they have these small consistencies, because it is important. So make sure that in the morning you get out of your PJs, get into a formal clothing, and make the child get into formal clothing. This is really important, and it does have an effect on the way the brain starts thinking after a day or two. So it's really important. Okay, set your own routine. This is really important, that you need to set your own routine. Do not try to replicate school timetable. Do not try to do a whole lot of learning. Do not stress yourself out. Do not. Because you're not trained to be a teacher. Even if you are a trained teacher, Your setting is not geared up for that. Remember, at home, when you're working with a child, you're not actually being able to provide their much needed social break. During the lesson time, they look around, they see their best friend, give a smile, get into trouble. That's giving their brain a bit of a break from continuously processing of lots of formal instructions which they're exposed to. So it gets boring. And then they don't really see you as a teacher. And expecting you to behave like their favorite class teacher or not so favorite class teacher is different. If you're trying to do the physiotherapy or occupational therapy part or the speech and language therapy, the therapeutic part of the child's need, uh, it's also very crucial that you liaise with the therapist and try to incorporate some of it during the whole day. Do not try to stress it all in one go, especially if you're a working parent. If you are working from home, you're expected to work from home, you can't do it. And in that whole process you might end up not actually delivering any lesson and expecting the child to just run around. Block an hour or 45 minutes as it suits you in the morning and maybe late in the afternoon. That way you can actually clear out your timetable. It will be easily manageable for you. So you know that, okay, from 10 till 11, it's my time to spend with my child on learning. So you can actually tell your line manager very clearly that, look, because I'm responsible for my child's learning, these are the slots I've blocked for my child's learning. So that way you can actually free your brain of that anxiety and do what needs to be done in a much more focused way rather than stressing out that I have to do this. If you know that, okay, my work will go on till 1 o'clock, then maybe you can schedule the learning at 3 o'clock, whatever suits you, but block that hour. Do not try to work simultaneously because you as a parent will find it really, really difficult to do it. And when you're setting up the timetable, please do not try to. I've seen parents being very overzealous and doing a timetable with like 9 to 9:30 for next, 9:30 to 10 days, 10:30 to 11 days. And maybe some parents had seen other parents doing it, go, gosh, I should be doing it. No, you don't have to do it for a simple reason, because it's your child, your family, your child's need, your family's need is very unique from anybody else. You know your child best. So when you say, oh, my child can't remain focused for 10 minutes, that's fine. So a child who can remain focused for half an hour, well, maybe, is different. Do not expect. Make sure you end the lesson at a time when you know that this is the time my child can remain focused or I can actually do it. So make sure that you are in control of it. And when you talk about the routine, I'm not only talking about your routine for the child's learning, your day routine. I've just figured out yesterday that if I once the little one has gone to bed, after that, if I do my laundry, dishwasher, hoover, and mopping the floor, when I woke up in the morning, I felt quite good actually. And it was much easy to manage because other days when I'm trying to do it while the little one is there, don't walk there, don't go there, don't do this, don't da. And it just increases the stress level. So I've realized that this is something I would really do now. So maybe find out that time. Give yourself that time. If you think you're a morning person, wake up in 45 minutes early and do it. But finishing it off at night actually did help me. Put me in a good mood this morning. So I think that's one thing I've realized, and I will be doing it. So set your routine according to your convenience, your child's peak learning time. So if your child is somebody who you know that learns best between 9 and 10, block that time. If you think my child learns between 1 and 2, block that time. You know your child. Okay, my little one will be taking a nap at that time. Maybe that's the time you focus with your child's learning. So try to manage your routine. Do not try to do it for the whole day and get into that panic. Time. This is really, really important. Time means, I'm not saying that what time you're going to start the lesson. Remember, for the little one, for us, teenager, for everybody, we need to know when something is going to end. We need to know when the lockdown is going to end. So for the kids, it's really crucial to know, God, I have to learn again. When is it going to end? So set up a stand timer, especially with the children with SEN. If they've got really low attention span, or with ASD, even for anybody, for everybody, they need to know when it's going to finish. Because learning is not something they're looking forward to. Nobody looks forward to. Even now, I probably wouldn't be very keen to do any course because, God, I have to learn again. So you need to know when it's going to finish. So use a sand timer, because often what I've seen that children with ASD, sand timer works really well because it doesn't give that, if they're sensitive to noise, that might actually help them, because they don't get this, oh my God, there's this alarm. Or kids with the anxiety, if they see a timer, the time going down, tick 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 tick, that often raises anxiety, whereas sand timer is quite soothing, so that often helps them better to uh, stay calm while they're doing it. So when you are setting the time, if you know that my child's attention span is that for maximum of 10 minutes, set the timer for 5 minutes. You know why? Because it's very, very important for the child and for you to end the session feeling happy that the child has achieved. Don't worry if they haven't finished it. Don't worry about it. Because I think the focus should be the positive feeling at the end of it, that, oh, I've actually sat without getting told off, or I actually managed to do 2 words. Fine, 2 words, that's fine. But for them to see that I have actually completed a task is more important. So if you know that in 5 minutes he or she will be able to finish maybe one sentence, two sums, whatever, you know it, or whatever you're trying to do, set that up so that by that time they finish it. And once they've finished it, just, there are lots of different activities I'll be talking about which can be used as a gap filler. At the same time, they're learning, but they're not realizing they're learning. So they're like small games. You can play like I Spy, or you can play like Find the Word game. So that, or Tic Tac Toe. That's a very good actually problem solving game. I don't know how many of you have ever played something called a box, where you have lots of dots and then you take turn to join the dots to form a box. So whoever forms the maximum number of box is the winner. Well, I can do a separate video on that. So lots of things. So set the timer. Let them see it's going to finish. And have a big timer for, I think you get that those 30 minutes timer or an hour timer, which is there. So when that timer finishes, our work finishes. But each time, each kind of the small set of work that you're doing, make it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. With some kids, even if it's 1 minute, that's fine. Even if it's just a scribble, that's fine. Because their brain needs to start thinking that I am sitting down to do something. That's the very first step you need to work on, because they're not used to learning with you. My daughter has told me that I'm behaving like Miss Trunchbull now. So I'm Miss Trunchbull for her, because I'm expecting her to work. So yeah, we will be getting those situations where they will be pushing the boundaries, where you will see tantrums, where they will come up, I'm hungry, I need toilet. So how many times they'll be hungry and they'll need toilet during that 1 hour or 45 minutes? It's amazing to see. What I would suggest is keep the a bottle full of water in front of them, a box of kind of their favorite snacks like cheese and some grapes and something there. So during those tasks, if you want a break, okay, why don't you have a grape now? And as soon as you offer it to them, they all of a sudden they don't feel hungry. So which is amazing. If they eat good, if they don't, it's good. So if a child who has got severe issues with feeding, and you're actually working on them trying to eat or hold the cutleries properly, so that's the time you can use it. So let's have some grapes, let's try to pick it up. So fine motor skills. So do you see? So filling with various small things. So thing is that set an area. That's also another crucial thing I forgot to mention when I spoke about the routine, is that make sure there is an area allocated for it. Do not try to do it in the bedroom. I personally would not recommend kitchen, because that's too open and too much of distraction. So if the child has got a room and has got a study table, that's fine. Or else if you can afford to have a small corner, even if it's a corner in the floor, if you're in a small flat, dining table, but an allocated space for it, because it's very crucial for them to know, if I'm going there, That's it. Next 1 hour, 45 minutes, I'm going to be there. But again, that timer is really important because they need to see when it's going to end. So, okay, independence. This is the break for you as a parent and the child's feeling of, yes, I've done it. Work on finding out some, it doesn't have to be worksheets. It doesn't have to be worksheets. It can be anything. Something that they can do independently. Maybe trying to copy something, maybe a drawing, maybe trying to find a recipe. Maybe you can give them a task like, I want to cook this for dinner, can you find the recipe for it? Even if it's for 5 minutes, because when you're teaching for 45 minutes or an hour, after about half an hour you definitely need your coffee break because you're not used to it. So whether it's your coffee break, whether it's just to go out and go, it's okay, it's absolutely fine. You are allowed to do it because it came to you all of a sudden. After being in the field for 25 years, I need that as well. But believe me, all the teachers who are working as a parent and as a teacher, we need that as well. So it's okay. You are not alone in the journey. It's okay to scream. It's okay to do that. So that 5 minutes of your me time during that 1 hour slot is when you promote this independence. It's really crucial. So set something which you know they can do. Don't let them go on to the internet break. You know what you can do? Get those easy kids recipe book. I'm sure you guys have got it. And ask them to find something from there so that they're looking into a book without actually thinking, oh, I have to read again. But please do not let them go into a computer game break at that time. Because as long as they're 6, 7, 8, it's still manageable. But 10 plus, if you're a mother of a teenager, before you realize they have moved on to from that game that you had set up, which the school had referred and asked them to do, from there to chat, from there to something else, and they'll always have a reason why they need to go there. It was something really urgent. So even if you're doing one of those online games with your child, which the school has recommended, do it while you're sitting with them. Do not let them move from navigate their way onto the internet. We trust them fully. We would love to trust them, but when it's on the internet, especially with the teenagers, and as a when I was working as a senko in secondary schools, it was always quite interesting to various logics that you would get to know why they had to go to that site because they clicked something went there, and it can happen. So yeah, so whatever you do, try to do those activities during that hour. That's learning, so you don't have to worry about the worksheets. And if you're doing an online, what I would recommend you to do as a parent is keep your own small notebook and just make a note for your reference that they have done it and how well they have how they have done it. Because generally they will say, oh, I did this yesterday, it's boring. And often they say it because they struggle with it. So if you know that they have said, oh, it's boring, it's too easy, okay, move back a step or move up a step. Sometimes it's when they say, oh, level 2 is too easy for me, I want to go to level 5. Okay, let's start from level 5. Once they actually see that, oh, okay, I can't really hide. You're actually asking me to do what I wanted to do. After 2 attempts, they come back to their level. Generally, they try to push the boundaries to see that, oh, but you're actually listening to me. I thought you will say, no, you have to do level 2, you have to do this because teacher has said that, da 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 da. And they enjoy that conversation because that means they're wasting that 1 hour. You remember the sun timer is going down. I haven't done any learning. That's good, isn't it? So they're a winner. We don't want them to win at this point. For that 1 hour, no, 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 you're learning. Rest of the day is yours. Do whatever you feel like. But if you're splitting it into 2 sessions, so 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, which I think makes sense for especially for the little older ones, 10 years plus, because they often have got quite a lot, and it's always good to recap what they did in the morning. So that's something you might look into. But remember to set something up for them which they can complete independently, because they feel, oh, I've actually done it, without realizing that they have done something which is related to their learning. Now, When it comes to independent skills that I'm talking about, think out of the box. Often we think that working with SEN children means that I need lots of resources. I need to have the specialist resources, which are quite expensive. And honestly speaking, you really don't need to. Reading is a fight, fine. Writing is a fight, yes. Numbers is a fight, yes. It is a fight because they struggle with it, and in school they are struggling. So we always have to remember that home is a place where they feel secure. There are quite a few little ones I've been speaking to their parents, who has said that my child is actually very happy to be at home and is not actually missing going to school. And honestly speaking, yes, it is true, because at school, remember, continuously they're facing the failure. Some of the kids are very good at hiding, and they are like, yeah, I'll just stay afloat, and I'm not a if I don't create a problem, nobody is bothered. So that's their strategy. Some kids will be like, be all over the place because they have realized that, if I misbehave, I'll be thrown out of the classroom. That means I don't have to learn. So we get both the sides, and you know your child falls in which category. And so it's very important for them to actually know that, oh, I have actually done something, and also to actually trick them to think that, oh, I haven't done anything, it was all fun. But hang on a minute, you have actually done a lot more. I once played a spelling game with my year 8 group, and bless them, they didn't realize that they spelled 120 words in total, because the target was whichever team scores 25. So it was a group of severely dyslexic learners. So to reach that level of 25, they had to struggle a lot. We spent the whole 1 hour lesson playing that game, but it was basically my way of assessing them, how much they have developed their auditory processing skill, blending, and lots of other skill set. You need to think out of the box. I'll be talking about few activities today, but more, if you want more, I'll be happy to do more sessions like this and post videos like this for you to get ideas and start working, because we don't want the gap to increase. Okay, photo challenge game for kids. This is an amazing game, and they just love it. They don't realize that they have done a lot. So basically what you need to do is give them access to a camera, whether it's a camera or phone, I don't know, and ask them to click few photos of their choice. Okay, and then you, as a parent, click similar photos, like same photo, and just ask your child to compare two photos and talk about what's the how which one is better, why is it better, what did I miss, what should have been. Ask them to talk about those things. What you will see that all of a sudden they start thinking about lot more things than they'll come up with vocabulary, their visual tracking, all those things will improve, because they will be looking into for finer details, which is a very crucial skill to develop their reading. As you know that when they nearly need to read, find the keywords, inferential comprehension, there are lots of associated things that they need to develop along with their reading. So if you give the book and ask them to read, I don't want to read. We have got lots of reluctant learners, and it's crucial for them to not realize that they're developing a pre-reading skill or associated reading skill without realizing. So reading the photo, talking about a photo, or you can take a photo and ask them, okay, if you look at this photo, tell me what you can see. Maybe from Google Images, you can take a photo of a winter scene of a park or something, and you ask lots of inferential comprehension related questions, where what time of year do you think it is? Why do you think it is? What makes you think that this is winter? The child might come up, oh, the person is wearing a hat and a coat. Oh, I can see the trees have not got any leaves. Or do you think it's a morning or day? Oh, I think it's daytime because the bin man is there, or it looks like they're going to the office or they're coming back. So getting them to start thinking about what they're seeing, that's a very, very crucial key skill they need to develop before they move on to their reading comprehension. We often rush. We often say, oh, you have read it. What have you read? And some kids with good memory will just give you the answer. But when you actually try to dig deep into their understanding, you'll see that it's basically they're just rote learners. So there are lots of skills like this that you can develop through simple activities like this. Books. No. Some how many? I don't know. I'm sure that quite a few of the parents who are here are struggling with their kids and reading. And often you will see that they'll pick the fattest book from school library and they'll sit and they'll read silently because they want to be like anybody else. And I've been looking for short story collections here, but I haven't got any. If a request to all the parents, if you have got any idea and you can point me to a short story collections, please let me know. Anyway, but what I'm trying to say with this activity is I'm not talking about reading a book because they don't want to read. Choose any book. It can be a magazine, it can be Defense Keeper, it can be something. My daughter chose Kite Runner the other day. She wanted to read Kite Runner. She's 6. I said, okay, fine, let's read Kite Runner. She was like, yeah? I said, yeah, let's read. So she opened the page. I said, can you find the word the from the page? Because we're working on the first 100 tricky words. So she started pointing out at the. Okay, can you find and? So she started looking for the word and. So it was a good exercise on generalization without, and then after 3 words, he said, okay, I want to read this book. And out came a book by Julia Donaldson. So she moved on to what she is expected to work on. But I don't want to read. That's when you don't have to read. So we started playing a word game. So she was the teacher the other day where she took a book and she pointed at the word and said, now write the word the. And I wrote the word the and I got some spellings wrong and she had to correct me for that because that was a good way for me to check, oh, you are actually identifying these keywords in different contexts. You know when I've got the spelling wrong and you are actually reading and pointing and just picking up the word. And it's a very, very, very important skill to develop for a child with not only child with SEN, for any child to be able to pick up the words and using the ruler. And I have shared some videos on that, so you can have a look at that at your spare time. So that was like, those sort of things, like playing book cricket. I don't know if anybody remembers playing book cricket. You open a page and because I'm working on number recognition with her. So you open a page and you tell me the number of the page number on the right hand side. So we take turn, whoever gets the maximum page number and gets, is the winner. So different type of, make up your own activities, silly activities, but they are crucial. They're really important and they don't realize that they have done something. And it's not that you don't always have to do worksheets. They're tired of worksheets. I had a 20-year-old severely dyslexic learner once who said, Miss, I'm happy to come with intervention with you, but only if you promise that you'll never do worksheets with me. I was like, okay, we'll try. We managed. We did 2 years of intensive work. He's a graphic designer with Disney now. So yeah, you can work. You just need to think out of the box. If you need more ideas, feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be more than happy to share some other tricks. Okay, this is an amazing thing. They love doing it. I said before that, talk about the recipe. So when they're looking through a recipe book, they're deciding on the recipe. Remember, they're reading. They're doing the measurement. So get them to make their own recipe. Ask them to look through the book. So you don't have to force them, no, let's sit and read. It's taxing. It can be boring. So once they kind of engage in this way and their brain gets used to working with you in a structured kind of a setting, it's easy for them to move on to the worksheets or a bit more structured and formal expectations. At the moment, you're still a mom or a dad and it's the brain is not tuned to it. So with this all these small changes, you are moving towards the structured learning time, and hopefully it won't be for too long, and we'll be going back to school and to a normal life soon. We hope so, but even then you can use these strategies to carry on with their home learning. uh, Always I would say that have an allocated space, and when they're even when they're doing home learning, try to get them out of their PJs or any fancy clothing. That is really important. And have a set time. Activity suggestions. You know what? They talk about recycling, isn't it? And they often make lots of crafts with recycled materials like castles and this and that. And unfortunately, even though we want to keep them, we have to bin them after a while, because otherwise our house will be full of these wonderful castles and like cars and all those things. So you need to start thinking about something that they can do, and they can actually keep it, and you can actually keep it. So one of the things that I used to do with a lot of my secondary age students was things like jewelry making, candle making. So if you know that your child is supposed to see an OT because the child has got dyspraxia or other issues, dyspraxia, dysgraphia, so they need to develop on their fine motor skills, their attention span, their concentration, their coordination. So something like candle making, jewelry making is amazing. Boys might not be interested in jewelry making because boys will, oh, I don't know, that's girly thing. That's fine. You can move on to candle making. And for candle making, you really don't have to spend a fortune. How many crayons do we throw? How many baby bell, those red can wax thing we throw? Store them and make your own candle. It's really easy. So you can make it with whatever you have got at home. You don't have to go out. You don't have to order online. Uh, if you have got Pringle cans, just do a slit on top and use lollipop sticks and other things to asking the child to put them in, and that's an amazing way of doing fine motor skills. uh, Thumb painting. If you have got some vegetable printing, get some old t-shirt. If you have got if you know how to make natural dye, I'm sure you get all these things in YouTube. Try to do prints on them. So when you're teaching them recycling, try to engage them in something that has got some long lasting value, and in some way maybe some commercial value, because some of my kids are amazing at being entrepreneurs, so they can sell if they want to, they run amazing business. So if they're making candles, my secondary students, they earned I think £78 by selling the candles they made, and they donated it to cancer research, so which was amazing. So something like this, which they see meaningful, because often we give them activities, we think, oh, they are going to enjoy it. No, they might not, because often we try to think about these things as adults. We need to go at their level and see the world from a child's point of view, because you will get a different perspective of life. So it's really important. I think I have sort of covered quite a lot. Um, Try, because first 2 weeks we all were very overzealous. Yes, we can do it, and now we have kind of reached that point that, oh god, we feel a bit lost. I know it's Easter break, and you probably are thinking of, we are not going to do any work. Don't do any work, but what I would say is try to use this time to set up this routine, that 1 hour in the morning, getting the brain to think about it. Because if you're a working parent, you will probably you'll have to work, because all our holidays have been cancelled. So and if you're working, it will really help you. And once they have kind of done that 1 hour of learning, they feel like, yeah, oh god, it's out of the way, I've done it, it was not too bad, I can have a free time. And then you can also set up your own routine, like what you need to do, and give yourself a break. So try to make your life a bit more relaxed. You don't feel pressure. I know quite a few parents are feeling, oh my God, so I'm seeing these videos, I'm seeing these things, these things are amazing, they're doing so much work, my child is not doing anything. It doesn't matter. Every child is unique, every family is unique. We are seeing pictures. Pictures doesn't always tell the truth. I can post a picture of my little one doing something amazing last summer and say my child did this yesterday. Who knows? We don't know. So don't try to create that stress in your life about what am I going to do. Prioritize. Another tip I would suggest is at the especially if your child loves a routine and can suffer from anxiety, especially ASD children or somebody with any anxiety issues, it's really important that in the evening, if you're doing an evening learning session or even in the morning, at the end of it, you decide or you tell them the activities that they are going to do next day. As a parent, you will also feel better that yeah, we know that this is what I'm doing, and once they've gone to bed, if you need to take a printout of anything, arrange for the resources, you still have the time to do it. So let them know what they're going to do next day, and
S,
just
S
just
for stop.
and so just do it. Yeah. That's what, so yeah, and
Question answer session.
if is there anything, so I have done a lot of talking. I am looking, is there anything where anything that you want me to talk about? Feel free to drop a comment. I can see the comment box. I'm really glad that you have found it useful and these are doable, because I want to make your life easy. I don't believe in making it difficult, because as a parent, if you're tired, you pass it on to your child, and that becomes an issue. We don't want that to happen. So make sure that you have your me time. Do not stretch yourself. Do not try to do from 9 to 3. It's not going to work. You are not being able to give your child the social break. You're not being able to give that child that freedom to look at the friend of the best friend or the worst possible enemy or the person who they don't like. There's so many things happening in school all day which kind of keeps them active. So imagine they're not going out, they're just seeing us. If it's an only child, they're only seeing your face whole day. They've lost their life. So something we can't even imagine. If as an adult we are finding it difficult, imagine them. So have patience. Be confident. You are doing an amazing job as a parent. So just relax, set yourself, use this time to set the routine up slow and steady. Before we realize, it will be over and we'll be back to normal. I sincerely hope that. Anything? Short attention span in children. Make sure, Debaja, that's a good question. I think I've covered it, but I'll repeat it again. Make sure the child knows the task is going to finish. So if you know that your child's attention span is that of 5 minutes, set the sand timer for 3 minutes. Okay, do not be over the, and if they've achieved it, next day only don't move it to 5 minutes. Let them enjoy that 3 minutes of, yes, I've done it, for at least 3-4 days before moving it on to 5 minutes, and then moving it on to slowly from 5 to 10 is a huge jump. Do not rush. If you're moving from 5 minutes attention span to 10 minutes attention span, give it at least 2 weeks minimum, if not more, because 5 to 10 is a huge task. So it's just something. Make sure the child knows it's going to finish. We all need to know. How many of you are really excited that, oh, we don't know when it's going to finish this lockdown? We all need to know. Similarly, for them, learning is also something that they need to know that it's going to finish. So when you're doing it with them, make sure they realize that I have achieved something and I've done something independently, and this whole learning thing is going to finish. Don't forget your childhood days when we all never wanted to study. It's all same. History repeats. So I'm sure some of you are were very keen learner and were always excited to learn and read and do maths and all these things. But well, not everybody was. So try to go back, step back, and think of all those fun childhood activities that some of us did when we were, if you were in that era of when there was no internet, uh, bring back some of those activities that you did, and kids actually uh, Sarah, that's a very good question. If you have set it for 10 minutes, stop it, because otherwise it's going to. But say, okay, I'll give you a break for 2 minutes now. After that, we'll finish it. But make sure that before the session finishes, they finish it. So if you see that they haven't finished it in 10 minutes, start it from 5 minutes, give it a break of 2 minutes, and then resume it again for 5 minutes. So break it, but what they need to do is they need to see that worksheet or whatever task you have set needs to finish. Like my little one has finished a worksheet over 3 days, but she needed to see that she had to finish it. So it was not like, oh, I don't want to do it, I'm finding it difficult. Yes, you're finding it difficult, that's why we are working on it. So we will have to finish it. So once she has finished it, she was like, oh, I've actually done it. Yes, you have actually finished the task. So after a while, what will happen is they will see those completed tasks. And they feel much better seeing a completed task than going through their classwork book or homework book where half of the work are incomplete. That is really important, because they need to see that they had actually completed something. When they look at it after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they had actually forgotten that they took breaks or they completed it over a long period of time. It's very, very, very important for them to see that they have completed something. Completion is important, but not at the time that when we have decided. But do not move on to a new task until unless they had actually finished it. So make sure that they realize that, oh, if I have to do this task, I have to finish it. Because otherwise, when they move to secondary school, or if they move to higher education, you open their classwork book during parents' evening, and you see that not a single work is complete. Because at school they don't get time to complete, and everything moves on too fast for our kids with SEN. So at least they'll have something to fall back on at home to see that I've completed it, and that often gives them that much needed boost that yes, I can actually do it. See, you did it, you can do it there. And so it's really important. And also I would say that at school, please tell the teacher that if they have not completed any work, if they can forward it to you, so that at home also at some point of time you can get them to complete the as a Senko, I always used to insist that the textbook for all my SEN kids, exercise books needed to come to me regularly, so that I can look. And what they didn't do, I always used to make sure that during their intervention sessions, or somehow or the other, we used to fit in to make sure that it's complete. Because when you go for the parents' evening, you want to see that your child has done something, and as a child, they need to see that I've completed. They forget. So please insist on completing, but give it a break. Any other question? It seems there's no other question. If you have any query, please put it on the comment section, or you can PM me, or you can go to our Facebook page and ask any question. Feel free. And if you would like any more of these sort of live sessions, do let me know. I'll be posting many videos. I'll try to do at least once every week. How do we keep control of screen time? Okay. It's quite difficult nowadays, but what you can, if your child is using Amazon Kindle, that Fire for kids, it's quite easy, because they have got a parental control that it only opens for certain amount of hours that you have set. You can use that, or else one of the, I think probably really raw strategy or a good strategy, I don't know, but which I often found could work, is just forget to charge it. You might find some tantrums, but charge it to that level that it can operate for that certain duration. So if you want the child to be on the tablet for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, have the charge for that kind of time that the tablet will last for that time. Because if your child has got autism, they often understand that it hasn't got charge, so it is not going to work. So they are happy to put it on charge rather than it not having any charge. So that way you kind of you're kind of controlling that screen time in a much more acceptable way. So hope that's helpful. how do you handle teaching in such a condition when they are not used to doing schoolwork in the evening and breaking a habit? Absolutely. If you, as I said, that if you, because you joined in late, I had covered this initially, but again, I am happy to go about it. That maintain a scheduled time because you both are working. It's really, really important that you block a time in the morning, the time that your child is used to working in school, and that is quite important. So you will see, if you watch it later, you'll probably find the answer. But maintaining the routine, getting him out of the pajamas and getting him dressed in a much more formal kind of a dressing is will probably help the child to tune. And if they've got ASD, make sure you're using a visual timetable of what they're doing, and do not try to work for a long duration. So block your time. So maybe you can work, because both of you are working and in quite a demanding job. You can work for half an hour, break, then your partner can take over for another half an hour. So kind of having that 1 hour, and you can, I'm sure you can talk to your line manager and explain your situation that we would have to block this half an hour for to work with my child. And I'm sure in this situation there will be understanding. So block half an hour with you, half an hour with your partner, so 1 hour done. Just then carry on with your work, schedule some activities, make sure that you're using the visual timetable effectively. And slowly the brain will start getting used to it. And use the social stories. If you're using it already, use the social story to get him first understand the whole concept of homeschooling. Once the child is able to comprehend the whole concept, then move on to the next bit of the thing that, okay, we are working this. So homeschooling, we are sitting here. So your step should be, we are doing homeschooling, we sit here, we do maybe a coloring or whatever, we finish, we move out. Okay, break, we come, we sit, we do the work, we finish, we go. And then slowly start including work bits. So it's kind of building it up slowly over time. And it's important that you maintain the routine and getting him used to the right bedtime routine and waking up routine and the morning routine, because once the school opens, otherwise the transition will be really, really difficult. Okay, I think I will have to end now. So if you have got any question, please feel free to PM me or email me at shri@bestuk.com. Or if you have, so feel free to, and I'll be happy to do more live sessions like this. And keep following us, and there will be more videos and strategies for parents to help kids at home. So stay safe, stay home, don't worry too much, relax, and enjoy your child, because they grow up too quick. Just enjoy.